That's it.
Alright, so that's gonna be authorization to collaborate with Presbyterian Villages of Michigan in development of 10 mixed finance public housing units at the Village of Westland. What's your pleasure?
I so move.
Alright, it's been a motion to accept this resolution.
Okay.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion with regard to resolution 220906?
Questions?
Concerns, comments? Yay, who?
How many units are there in the village?
Mr. Al, we have Mr. Al Walker, because I don't wanna misstate it, Commissioner. Mr. Al, could you, chime in here? There's gonna be a couple questions from the commissioners. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you, and I'm available.
Okay,
Thank you for having me.
Okay, yeah, awesome. First question from one of the commissioners is, what is the total number of units that you all are predicting to build over in Westland?
We're building 35 brand new units in Westland. As part of this portion, the 9% tax credit, which this is part of, there will be, let's see, 25 of them will be on as part of this program and do it, as well as we will be rehabilitating and improving an additional 69 units.
So what?
Sorry, additional 40 units.
Okay, so the total unit count is what?
30, was it 35?
75.
75.
75, okay. You can't tell me that. Okay. So it's total of 75 units that you're gonna construct?
Yeah, again, it's complicated from the standpoint that there are really two projects there. We're applying under a 9% tax credit and under a 4% tax credit. The Inkster Housing Commission has been very helpful in providing us project-based vouchers as part of this project. But in order to be competitive, we find that the Inkster Housing Commission, we make available the 10 units. It will increase our competitiveness to win the grants and the funds from MISTA. And so the 10 units will give us 5 additional points in the competition and allow us to be able to receive the funds to not only build these, but additional 69 units that'll be part of a 4% tax credit.
And the Inkster residents will only, can only qualify for 10 units, correct?
Well, Inkster residents will be able to qualify for all of them, but we've agreed that we will provide preference for these 10 units. And I think, again, we've also agreed to provide preference to Inkster residents for the project-based voucher units.
Correct. So anybody, when they finish doing their construction, their project is done, anybody can apply, right? We have preference for the subsidy that we're putting in, so 10 units. And then I think originally we came to the board maybe a month or two ago, I think 39 project-based vouchers. So our residents of not just Inkster Housing, but the city will get a preference. So when they apply, they'll go up to the top of the wait list before anybody else. So we wanted to make sure that if we were a part of this process, that we also reap some benefits in terms of the city of Inkster, and residents of Inkster. So, we felt that this was a good opportunity, that's why I bring it to the board, to one, also gain some financial considerations as stated here, but also to allow residents of Inkster to have a potential of new development. Whereas if we didn't, the playing field would be equal, but the preference will allow us to have more of a preference points, if you will, to move in. So we're actually screened above everyone else. So that's kind of.
And the 10 units will make the likelihood that we get the financing so we can use the 39 vouchers you provided in the past. So the 10 units basically becomes a guarantee for us to being able to win the funds from Michigan.
And the 10 units are set at an income level that is just like the income level to get into public housing, right? So you have to be below 30% of the area median income to even qualify, right? Whereas if that was not in existence, then if you're at 30% of the AMI, you're not gonna get into these units. You're not gonna be able to afford it. You know, so what we're doing is allowing affordable housing opportunities that are in non-traditional locations, you know, so that's kind of the gist.
And these are still seniors though, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, senior housing, yeah.
Yeah, senior.
And part of the program is that targeted towards frail seniors, people that need additional support and assistance, you know, from being taken care of and being fed and things of that nature.
Yes, I completely understand the program, and I am believing that it is a benefit. But if someone from the citizenship asked me how many units would Inkster residents be able to take advantage, I'm still not clear on that number. You were saying that 10 guaranteed, and that the subsidies are now going to allow you to create another 35 units. So
Again, these Inkster residents will be eligible for every single unit that we build.
the preference part, the preference.
We will put Inkster residents at the top of the
49.
So, for entry into these units. So there's 39 vouchers, project-based vouchers, plus the 10 fair-plus vouchers.
Okay, thank you so much.
I have questions, because that's a great point. The project-based vouchers is 39, the public housing fair call units are 10, that's 49. Out of all the units that you all are renovating to apply for tax credits currently, what's going in October 1st of this year, what's that total number?
The total number of both parts of it, the part that's going in October 1 and the part that's a 4% tax credit, that has to be submitted as, it's separate, but has to be part of it. The total number is going to be something like 139 units,
So,
the whole program.
thank you.
And that's, so that's 139 units is what the whole total, right? So now we're talking about preference.
Agree about that.
49.
Because our subsidy
Exactly.
is going in. Exactly. So if I'm gonna put my subsidy in there, then we want things behind that.
I just wanted to quantify it, right? If a citizen walked up and said, well, yeah, you voted for this, and so how many, you know, you just quantify it.
No, that's why I wanted to state that number.
Thank you so
You have
much.
to make sure you got the number, because senior.
Yes, sir.
And then they'll come up and you just say, just making, you know, some of them don't know how to take it. So we need to let them know that.
Thank you so much.
Any other discussion with regard to this item?
I was just, if I could just add real quick is that, just so the board is aware and for, you know, the audience to know, listen, we have more than enough subsidy that we are also entertaining any new build projects here in Inkster. You understand, this is in Westland, but if there are projects that are gonna be built in Inkster, then we also want to be a part of that because we have subsidy that we can provide. One, for instance, is this Freedom Village that they're looking at for like refugees and things that's been discussed. We just haven't, they have to come to us with the project plan, like Al and his team has came to us with a plan, pro forma, they have everything already shovel ready, they just need the funding. We just are sitting by waiting for any project in Inkster to be shovel ready. But we have subsidy.
No, I wanna do one, so, but that's okay. Is there anything else we have? All right, we need a roll call.
Commissioner Gillette,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Strowman,
Yes.
Chairman Miller.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Resolution 22-09-06. It's been properly moved and second. Thank you, Al.
All right, we appreciate it,
Thank
sir.
you very much.
Good luck to you. Yeah, good luck to you. All right, so that's gonna take us down to the resident council. Resolution, rough. Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey,
I am Diane Johnson, the Secretary to the Inkster Housing Residents Council. Here's our monthly report for September 2022. We would like to know the number of outstanding work orders still out. Have the letters gone out about the trash cans still being left out at curb? The Resident Council Executive Board will be working with management to help resolve the housekeeping issues within the housing community. The residents are still concerned about police protection. The residents are still concerned about the squatters in and out of the VPS units and the units that were supposed to be VPS after move-outs. The residents have not yet received the process in the way the work orders are to be done. We are now taking, meaning the resident council, is now taking donations for the Halloween extravaganza that we're gonna put on. And then I have 3 other things that I need to add. Spring Hill Baptist Church, along with the East Housing Residents Council, will be hosting a family and friends picnic on September 24th, 2022, from 12 noon to 3 p.m. at the park on Hickory and Pine next to the Envision Center. Also, Councilman George Williams will be hosting a meet and greet on Friday, September 30th, 2022, from 12 noon to 3 p.m. at the corner of Pine and Fox Street. And then also, the Inkster Housing Resident Council, along with the Inktown Writers, will be hosting a Halloween extravaganza. The theme for this extravaganza will be the Village of Inkster presents zombies, goblins, and ghouls at Halloween extravaganza. We will be getting back with you on everything else for those. And then I have to add one other thing. As far as me and the council, I'm speaking for me, I have seen lots of improvement as far as your management, working with your new maintenance. All this is starting to come into place, and then you throw a monkey wrench in there. But we're gonna go on past that. But a lot of our problems was under the other watch, not you. I get that. And the other commissioners that were on that board at that time did nothing to take care of those and our problems. So I am pleased with your executive board that you have now and your maintenance team that you have now. But these monkey wrenches, we're gonna have to talk about.
Okay. Appreciate that, so that.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
I thought the DPS was gonna prevent squatters, but they still getting in.
They probably doing something.
They're trying to get in the upstairs windows. Yeah, so we're trying to figure out a method to secure the upstairs. The VPS, we may have to do that, but it's a heavy expense to do all the upstairs. So we're trying to.
I know it's expensive, I see the budget on it.
We're trying to determine the best method to go through. And like I will say about the VPS too, dealing with the squatting and the VPS installation is a day-to-day fight. It's never gonna be perfect because people leave in the middle of the night. People don't know. We don't know until somebody calls or somebody tells us. Or we go in for an inspection and find a place dilapidated. So it's a constant fight for us here. It's something that has been entrenched in here for a long time because everything connects to each other. Housing authority for a period of time hasn't done certain things that you would find out if people are here or not. And we are now trying to do those things, and as we do them, people are leaving quickly because now we got you. But it's a constant day-to-day struggle. The asset management team, I don't envy them because it's constant. It's constant. So that's just something we're trying to stay up on as best as we can. But it's just a day-to-day thing, truly day-to-day.
Now, a question I like that. What would it cost us to have our maintenance team sweep the units every 2 days to make sure people not squatting in those properties?
I don't know the cost, but what I would say is what you're saying is not something that is profound to do some sort of periodic check. That's what I would say. I mean, you know, time commitment is probably would be the biggest thing, because if we're doing that with certain individuals, it may take away from certain other things. So it's juggling the time commitment and how we want to go about it. But the frequent or periodic check is something that we already know we should be doing, to your point. But again, it's just a balancing act as how frequent do we want to be doing that, you know? But it is something that we continue to discuss.
The reason I say, because if that will bring a level of safety to the residents, I wouldn't mind proving if we got the money to do it, to give somebody the extra money, to make sure it get done. You know, that's just my thought process.
Absolutely, and that's something that I'll bring back to the board. That's something that we'll continue to discuss, as well as discussing with the chief of police, because we do have some ways to do what you just said, but we are working through some things, especially with the police right now, where they have some new personnel. And so there's a different way that they want things done, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. So I'm working through some of those challenges. But to your point, that's something that I will come back to the board and talk about.
Let me ask, like, when we do, what is it, that UPC, the 100% sweep before the react inspection, do we go into those units?
Vacant units?
Yeah.
Or just units, period?
Yeah.
Let me make sure I understand the question, Chairman. Say it one more time.
I think, so the UPCS inspection right before the react comes out, that's 100%.
Correct.
Right. So when we do that, how come we not taking notes, finding out who here, who not, what's going on? Well, I mean, since we gotta get everyone for that inspection, that should be the one that we get all our information for. Regardless if we fell apart earlier in the year, that should be the catch-up inspection.
Yeah, several times.
I can't say, yeah, I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Can't let it go, can't let it go.
We have, and that's how we found out about quite a few units that was actually vacant. We actually moved folks out of the unit and put the VPS up. So that is one of the ways. Also with the housekeeping inspections, and also Serena and her team do drive around with the short team that she do have. We'll drive around. So she had found units that, and the residents now are starting to call us or email or drop letters to say, hey, so-and-so is not here. So we are, so I think that the trust is starting to build a little more now, and I think that was the biggest thing. So yeah, so we do find out. All right. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying to me is completely correct, and Chairman, like you said, if we're in, to your point, Thomas, we do quarterly housekeeping, we do quarterly pest control, we do annual UPCS. So at least, at the bare minimum, we should be in 100% of the units 5 times a year, at the bare minimum. Now think about that. For you all have lived in any type of apartment living, to come in your place 5 times is a lot in the course of a year. In the private sector, they may only come in your place once. So we coming in your place 5 times to check things. Even in them 5 times, people will leave tomorrow. When we serve an eviction notice for non-payment of rent, or you not completing a recertification, which is in part of our performance, people will leave because they'll say, oh, they got me. I'm working, they got me. I'm not even gonna say nothing, I'm out. And they'll leave tomorrow. So the cost that this, I have never seen, and I mentioned this in I have never seen it as rampant. And I've been at a housing authority with 10,000 public housing units. And I have not seen it as rampant as it is, as it has been here.
That's true.
Because it's culturally accepted. I'll watch out for you. You go, you move to the east side of Detroit, fine. When they come, I'll call you. That's how they play it. So it's something that we still are monitoring daily. And we're just finding them. We're finding them. You know, it's. But I give kudos to the team because, you know, we slap them on. Mr. Strong to see the bills. It's really cheap.
Not cheap. Yes.
But it's something, you know, to your point, I'll bring something back to the board.
Anything else, please? Sir? All right. Yep, so that's gonna take us to the executive director.
Oh, okay, all right. We covered a lot, so I'm gonna cross out a lot of things that we're talking about. I will let the board know that, we're going to NARO, several of us are going to NARO conference tomorrow. So several of us will be gone.
If I may ask.
I'm sorry. It's myself, Mr. Gillette, Ms. Coachman, Ms. Johnson, Ms. Wells. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it.
You're going to?
Hey, Nancy?
You want to?
Hey. She like, I'll go.
So we are, I just wanted to make sure the board was, aware of that. We
They
did,
valuable. I'm sorry. They valuable, so good.
the networking and connections is definitely. On the 8th of September, just so the board was aware, I was a part of a contractor, MBWB Contractor Symposium in Pontiac, Michigan. It was hosted by the Pontiac Housing Commission, Pontiac Executive Director and their procurement team, a number of minority contractors, the mayor of Pontiac. They were all there, so myself, Mrs. Wells, and Mr. Watson attended. We spoke about Section 3, you know, our program, and so it was a good symposium. I'm looking for us to hold something like that, whether we collectively do it with some other housing commissions. But it would be good to really start building that database here, where we can get some of those contractors, you know, names and contact information, especially as we start looking at development and some of the construction activities. Congresswoman Tlaib did visit. I think, you know, some of you all were there. So, you know, it was a good visit. Out of that visit, what we came up with, because we listened, and I don't want to steal asset management's thunder, but I did print out a couple of flyers that I'll just pass around to the board just so you see. They'll be out in circulation to the residents. But we are going to really dedicate some staff time to making sure we can help the residents out with this recertification thing. Making sure that we dedicate the availability of staff to really help residents understand, you know, what their requirement is under recertification. So the asset management team came up with some flyers, just about some FAQs. So we'll also put in our newsletter, but we also want to circulate that so that we can get the final flyers here to resident council so that they have copies as well. Because we really want people to comply. It's not something that we really want to do lease enforcement for. Unfortunately, we have to, because these numbers do count, and HUD monitors these numbers. So just wanted to bring that up as well. We did open our computer lab at Twin Towers. The residents, I think, were really appreciative. I unfortunately could not be there that day. I think Ms. Sutton and her team was there. So I'm glad we had the resources to do it. There is such a thing that you may have heard called the digital divide. It's real. And that there's a certain population that are left behind, don't have access to internet, don't have access to computers. So to be able to have a lab right there at Twin Towers, I think is very beneficial for the residents. We're trying to partner now with some partners to be able to teach, computer lessons, do basic, maybe internet, acumen to help residents out. So we are working to build that, so the board knows of any entities that may do that, we're open to that feedback. So, we do have that. September 30th, just so again the board is aware, we're gonna do a staff retreat. So we'll be closed down pretty much the most of the day. Just an opportunity for us to internally, as far as staff, just to connect, make sure that the staff understands the direction that the housing authority is going, if they have any questions, concerns. Just give us an opportunity to leave this space, which sometimes really benefits because people feel more comfortable to talk. It's not as regimented, as being at the workplace. So we are planning a September 30th retreat, and I'm just letting the board know so that you're aware that we do try to work together internally as staff to bring a good working environment and keep the staff updated. I can't remember the last time that we talked, but did we visit LMH last month? In August, right? Last month, right? Okay. Yeah, I think it was, yeah. Yeah.
It's the same answer for you.
Okay, yeah. So, didn't talk about it, I think, much at our last board meeting, but I did want to make sure I followed up with the board. I sent some communication out, and I think it's very relative. Just as we, had concerns and there was a lot of discussion with one of the resolutions, I think that for us, it's very important, and it goes back to what we talked about and being nimble and flexible. I think it's very important that there's going to be a lot of big decisions that we have to make as an institution. We'll never be able to make those decisions in this forum. The work is going to have to take place outside of this forum. And as we've seen with LMH, from their board meeting to their committee of the whole meeting, their board meeting is there's not much commentary because they do a lot of the discussions in committee. And for this board, again, one of my main things for us is that there are going to be some very, very, very critical decisions that we're going to have to make. And I'm asking for us to, if we can, to look at our calendars and schedules and really look at how can we discuss these topics in some sort of committee of the whole forum like LMH had, just as an example. Because I think even with our committees, our separate committees, I still don't see that we're united. If there's a committee for safety, a committee for procurement, a committee for operations, how are we then bridging that gap to make sure all board members are informed on the discussion of those different committees? We're not there yet. And what it will cause is us to be really stagnant on things that we gotta move forward. So I'm asking the board, I'll send out another email to just get some feedback again on the whole committee of the whole, how you all feel about it, but more importantly, is that something that we want to establish here? That hopefully if we do it, if that's the decision of the board, these meetings are a little bit more streamlined. So, I'll send that out, but I really want us to really focus on those things, because again, a lot of the things that we're going to bring up are going to be really critical. And I'll just touch on a couple of those things according to my report. So, we are still working our redevelopment with Lemoyne 1 and 2. So that's moving very quick. It's never going to move as fast as the board not understanding. I'm always going to make sure I talk to the board about what's going on because it's too important, very important. But we're at a stage now to where the developers for Lemoyne 1 and 2 really are putting together a financial and a physical pro forma. They're ready to say, hey board, this is what it could look like. Hey residents, this is what it could look like. This is what it's going to cost. So we're really up against, we're moving in that direction, which is where we said we wanted to be. That was according to our strategic plan. This is what we want to do. So these things are going to come at a clip to where we have to make sure we're all on the same page, because when we leave these four walls, we got to communicate that to the citizens, to the residents, to the city council, to the mayor. So we just got to make sure that we're on the same page. The Denby and Parkside, we have developers that we're working with, and they're finally starting to move a little faster, at least in Denby. And we're finally to a point to where we're looking at negotiating what's called the Master Development Agreement, which sets forth the terms of this is the potential ramifications, this is how many, this is how much percentage fee that you'll get Inkster, this is how much percentage fee we get developer. So that's something that, again, we work with Reno Kavanaugh. I'm not an expert on that. That's something that we brought in the attorneys, that's what they do. So Denby, that's moving forward, but again, we will be at a point in time where we have to bring the Master Development Agreement to the board. And it's a lot of language. So I want to make sure we can discuss those things again prior to we get to this point. Canterbury, I think, the board is aware that's a 24-unit complex. Right now, we're still determining what is the end result of Canterbury. Will it be sold? Will it be demolished? And so again, those are all decisions that as a board we have to put forth because we have to submit documents to HUD. And once we make that decision, you can't go back. So this is something, these are all things that are coming down the pipe that we're gonna have to decide, which leads me into why I wanna schedule a retreat for the board. And so what I'm asking the board to do is look maybe late October. I wanna bring in each of the different developers that we're working with. I wanna bring in EJP, who is our RAD consultant, that works with us to kind of give us strategies and this is what we need to think about. This is what we need to think about. I also want to bring in our marketing vendor. So one of the key pieces is communication. Whatever we're going to do as an agency, we need to be able to communicate that uniformly to the community. And so the marketing vendor will create a marketing or a communication strategy that we all can all take ownership in, which will allow us, so each market is different. You communicate to the residents differently than you communicate to the mayor. You communicate to city council differently than you communicate with the staff. So they'll help us and they'll come up with a communication strategy to help us communicate our strategy, our internal strategy. So as you can see that there is a lot of complex decisions that have to be made here very soon and ongoing. When we decided to go down the path of development, it's not an easy path. It's not a path where decisions are simple. It's not a path that, it's a path that if you make a decision, it will have an impact. And we have to be ready and willing to deal with that impact. If we say we're going to do this, and there's negative consequences behind whatever we're going to do, then we have to be as unified as a board and as an organization to say, that's fine. But not to then leave here and to say we don't know or that's not us, because we all represent this one shield that we wear. So to schedule a retreat, again, I'm looking at the end of October to really do something where we can take a day or potentially a day or two, or maybe an overnight, where we can really sit down and get an understanding of, okay, what does certain things mean? So if you all, and again, I'll send it back out. We don't have to.
We can do it now. We can do it now. We all here now.
So
Everybody at home.
Yeah, it's up.
We can do it now. It can be tough. Yeah. Let's see what we got.
Why are you looking at that?
I'm gonna say the other meeting is 13th or 14th.
So we,
13th.
October.
October 13th is the special board.
Yeah, special board meeting October 13th, which I believe is 6 or 5, I believe, but
I got it, well, it came up on my calendar, 69.
yeah, so October 13th is the special board meeting, October 18th is our regular board meeting. So what, again, I thought would be best for you all, again, you let me know, towards the end of October, doing something, whether it's a Friday, whether it's a Saturday, you know, whatever works best for you all. Again, if it's too soon to decide, I can send an email. You don't have to decide today.
What about the 22nd?
Yes, 22nd.
12? 22nd?
Of October?
Yeah.
That's a Saturday. Oh, you wanna do it on a Saturday?
It doesn't matter.
That's
Yeah,
Saturday.
it'll be on Saturday, yeah. This is gonna be more for the board.
Yeah,
Yes. Don't worry about it, we're gonna take it.
Face drop?
So we doing, overnight,
Potentially, yeah, potentially overnight, Saturday, wake up Sunday, or, you know, something like that to that. Preferably probably that, you know.
okay, I can do the 27th.
That's Saturday.
It would probably start, in the morning, Commissioner, start in the morning, and again, what I have to do too is I have to get the commitments from the consultants. You know, most of them I'm sure will be flexible, and they may not be there all day, they may be there in Zoom, they may be there in person, they may only be there a couple hours. Each of them is gonna have a part, because they each have different specialties. But I wanna allow us the opportunity to ask them questions as well. I'm happy to do it.
Yeah. Archer. Good show.
So do you want me to just hold that date on your calendar now?
Saturday, what time?
It probably, I start sometime in the morning, Commissioner, sometime in the morning, because it's probably gonna be an all-day thing, you know.
So, I'm happy. I got staff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we tentative for 22nd.
Tentative 22nd? Okay. I'll put a question mark. And I'm gonna resend the email to us out, so, because again, if that's the date, I wanna give you all time to make sure, I mean, people have families and other obligations, so.
You know that's the 16th. That week on the 16th because, you know, someone.
Yeah.
Honored.
Two. Well, two. Well, I'm gonna mention that too. 22nd, is that tentative?
Yeah, that's
I'm calling it now.
Okay. Just a couple other things and then I'll be done. I also wanted to, acknowledge, I wanted to also acknowledge, our very own, we have actually two commissioners, that are being recognized in the community. I'm not gonna say too much, but Commissioner Stroman, for you all, is being recognized by the NAACP. October 16th, right? So, you know, we will have a table, Commissioner, to support you. So we'll be there. And Commissioner Moore, from what I understand, is the very first Community of Hearts Award. Does that sound right? Did I say that?
I guess so.
Well, hold on, let's try. It's a Community of Hearts Award, and that's on the 15th, which is that, which is the 15th. So, more details will come out, but I did want to at least, make that public and acknowledge, acknowledge the commissioners for their hard work, for being recognized for their hard work, I should say. So,
What, for the.
NAACP.
It's a Pennsylvania court, you can't. But they have the NAACP there. No, that's Southgate.
It's on.
They filled the table already.
and then just the last thing that I had, for the board is that, we will start here next week. Well, we've already started, but just so that if I pass out a little flyer, whatever, circulation. But, because of what the progress of where we're at Des Moines, we're going to continue to reach out to the residents. We haven't got a good, return rate, if you will. So anytime you go down the path of redevelopment, there's a certain, requirement that HUD makes you do. They make you provide a certain notice to the residents talking about their rights. The rights for relocation, just what may happen, things like that. So we have not got a great deal of return documents back. So we even sent them, I believe, a certified mail out, because we have to exhaust all kind of avenues to get these documents back. So, what Ms. Sutton has been working with, Ms. Christian from TRG, we're gonna start to hold, I don't know if it's weekly, bi-weekly, whatever, forums and meetings and opportunities for residents to come out. We're also gonna provide, I think, some incentive, like either gift cards or something like that, to try to attract folks to come in to get this, to get the forms back. But even more importantly than the forms, we want their feedback. So there's a part that's mandated that we have to get, but there's another part that we created as a survey. We want the residents' feedback, because whatever is built is for the residents. It's not for us, it's not for me, it's for them. So we really want the feedback, and what do you want to see? What do you believe you need? So all of those things we can then take forth and put together in some sort of plan, whether we present it to the city. We may need the city to build infrastructure. We may need the city to build roads. We may need the city to do certain things. So, again, we're looking for that feedback. So we will be holding these forums, and we hope that we can get some participation. We're looking at trying to identify a resident ambassador that we can pay a stipend. That, if we need to get to folks, then that resident can be the spokesperson. So we are looking at creating that. Again, it will be a stipend that we can pay to the resident that we wouldn't count it towards their rent. So we're trying to be creative in what we can do to get the communication out. So that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. All right, that's gonna take us through the consent items. First one is finance report.
Hello again. All right, so we have our financials here. If you have your package for 45, this is summary of our financial results. For our revenue, we have more money that we budgeted for in our revenue for our line items, but attached to HCD program and for this month and two. However, we still are pretty much in agreement regarding our revenue. Our expenses, we are overspent in our HAP program and our AMP1 and our AMP2. Our HAP program over expenditures are due to our increase in our payment standard, and our overspendage in AMP1 is pretty much due to maintenance contracts, and AMP2, we've got quite a bit of operating expenses, lots of utilities this month. So that's a summary of our financial results. You can look through them and look into the detail when you look into your revenue and expense statements. Our cash position is looking good, and scrolling down, you can also take a look on page 55, and it just lets you know where we were spending this the same time last year. That's a comparison. We go over to page. Oh, you don't have to do that.
I got 43.
Back in front?
Just a page 43.
Maybe it's a different number.
It's just that, yeah, it's probably a different number. It is the annual liabilities comparison, just comparing what we spent same time last year. So it's right behind that, Mr. Cooper, keep going. Is that it? Yeah. Okay. So,
This one right here,
yeah,
it's probably super
little
small,
graph.
it's a little colored one.
Yeah.
It just gives you a snapshot.
Yeah. And then, but right behind that one is a breakout of all of our expenses for the month. So, if you want to scroll through and look through those and if you have any questions, let me know. I know there was a question regarding stoves to the Civic Center. That was to Parkside. Those were Parkside units, not the Civic Center, so that description wasn't the best description there. But just wanted to give you an update so that you know. Did you have any more questions, Christian?
No, that was it, that was just that one. No, I think that was it, I tried to highlight the two answers that one.
Our payment standard for HEP is like 115% right now?
110.
110?
Yeah. So, you can kind of scroll through and look through those and see if we have any questions. The other thing we want to talk about is our capital funds. That's all the way in the back, and it's got the colored pages with the red column and the yellow column and the green column. And for the month of August, there wasn't much movement with exception to the payment of the loan. But you will see movement in next month in our capital funds.
Okay.
But that is pretty much all I have. But if you have questions, you can always reach out, let me know. Committee update, so we, in our committee update, we talked about our write-ups, we talked about our annual budget, we discussed the audit, and, budget revision and our financials. Okay.
I'm all set. Any questions for finance? Thank you.
Chairman, if I could ask about the capital fund report, this one, I'm not smart, this one here with this little color that you'll see, for next month, Ms. Baker, who is the new capital fund program manager, what I want her to demonstrate to the board, now that she's here, we had a position for commissioners, two of the newer commissioners. We had a position, a gentleman was in the position, he since left. So, since he left, there hasn't been a lot of capital expenditures. So her position, that's what her position is. So what I want to show the board is a 12-month look ahead. So what you'll see is not just financials, but you're going to see projects that we plan on doing. And in the projects that we plan on doing, we also want to notate if they are related to REACT. So, you know, we plan on repairing 20 roofs. That may be a capital project that we know that REACT is, you know, we'll look at or something like that. I want the board to see that there's projects actually occurring, not just money in a column. I want you to see the projects. So the board report for, if the board is okay with that, I want to just change that up slightly. You still see the numbers, but I want you to see actual projects, see cement, concrete, windows, whatever those projects are. I want you to see at least a 12-month kind of glimpse of those projects, so that you can ask questions. Hey, are we on target? What are we doing? You know, what have you. So I do want the board to see that as well. So I just want to mention that since we were talking about that as part of the report.
All right. Take us to the next report.
Last.
So that's going to take us to the asset management report.
It doesn't matter. You know, I told you I'm
This is my last
You're already here.
It's my last report, so I guess I can do it. Hello, everyone. My name is Tamika Sutton. I am the Director of Asset Management and Organization. Hello.
This should be an easy one. This should be an easy one.
I know, right? For asset management, if anyone have any questions, please let me know. But I just want to just say that we have improved in asset management. The work orders may have went up, but we are doing some other things as well. So they are getting out there, they're looking at some items, we actually communicate a little more. I know, right? Do you all need to put a mask on?
I just started talking to you, Doug.
So look for it.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So asset management is moving, forward. We are putting in, the work order, so the work order line is working great. You guys should see an improvement for the work orders for, next month. There will be an improvement for the work orders next month. Kara is really working, some processes out, for us to help us out, with the work orders. You will see some more, leasing that may take place as well. So we have, Serena have been leasing units as well. And you should see because like I said, we have more residents coming in now because matters are going out regarding recertifications and also, people are going to court now. So you got more people coming in, who want to do a payment agreement, they want to make the payments, they're trying to find out other sources to help pay. So you guys will see a reduction in asset management numbers within the next several months. Any questions for Tanika? Yes.
Up a little bit, but okay.
That's it, okay. Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. It's such a, like you said, it's been a pleasure working with all you guys. And I just love you guys. I'm going to truly, truly miss everyone.
Yes.
Thank you.
Y'all got security? Cause last time my car was scratched up.
Come on outside.
I parked in y'all parking lot. Telling you, they go outside. No resident conflict. If something happens to my car, I'm letting y'all know now. I'm going on the flip.
How's it going?
Oh, yeah. Good. Change is good. The change is coming. Change is coming. So we have improved in our recertifications. We are, on my report, it says we're down to 70. I got my glasses.
Mine are closer to.
Yeah, on the report it says 70, right?
Yes.
But the number's lower than that.
Wow.
Right now, currently, the system is down, but we, are able to go into, Anthony was able to go into the system to retrieve some more information. So, in reference to recertifications, they're less than 70. In regard to our delinquent inspections, they're less than 50. So, like I said earlier, we have been working diligently to get recertifications processed as quickly as possible. Again, Mr. Howard, hats off again for him because he has really been just driving, just trying to get it done, along with other staff as well. So the whole team, we have 3 staff members that's really been driving, getting these research done. Our 2 temps that we have, they've been helping with the process of copying the information when the people come in. And then we have Randy Robinson, who we are sharing with asset management, who has really been getting the letters out to the people, getting the reminders out, letting us know who didn't come in, who needs to get that 3rd letter saying, hey, the 2nd time, possibly you might be terminated. But the main goal is, we did come to you last month and tell you by end of September, that we will probably be completely finished. We're striving for that. So today is the 19th, right? 20. So we got 10 more days.
20.
It's 20, right? Okay, yes. So we got 10 more days and we're working at it. So, you'll definitely see an improvement next month. We're in hopes to have all the recertifications completed But in that, we're also, scheduling our upcoming, recertification and inspections too.
Can I ask you, just tell me the change on the report, just so they know what they're looking at, why we made it.
Okay, hold on.
Because if you notice, it looks.
Let me get
like-
these glasses.
You don't have to tell them the numbers, just tell them what we changed.
Right, right.
Just tell them what we changed. You don't have to tell them the numbers, just tell them what we changed.
Oh, our report here. Oh, yes. So now from here on out, I'll be reporting like 3 months back to current. So you'll see exactly where we were and where we are now. So if you look at my report now, for each, item on here, you'll see where I have June, and then I have August, because August is a month I'm reporting in. But just trying to give you an idea as to where we are in our department. So you'll see June, July, and August for research, for, inspections. The dollar amount that we spend, for half is a half payment that we pay to our landlords on behalf of our tenants. So you'll see those numbers in there as well. So, it'd be a more improvement than this too. We'll start giving you information in regards to our CMAP as well. It just give you a general idea, say, hey, this is where we're going, this is where we were, and this is where we are right now.
Okay. What is success rate percentage?
Pardon me?
In this report, it says success rate percentage. I'm assuming it's got something to do with the 2-year tool.
That has something to do with our leasing,
Okay.
where, when we issue vouchers out from the time frame of the voucher issuance to lease up, it's kind of low, because, in this report, it's telling you about the voucher that we gave out, we getting ready to, most of them getting ready to expire at the end of this month, because it takes time to find, they're having a hard time finding a unit. So from the issue time to lease up, somewhere between 90 to 120 days, maybe more. So that process is slow, so that's why you see the 24%. And that's part of the reason why Mr. Cooper is striving, for the PPP vouchers, to give us, more avenue and more admin fees to be able to, get that, lease up number up.
So we 1 and 4 on an attempt to get a voucher in hand to find housing.
Yes. And again, you know, we are competing with other housing commissions, that have a voucher program. Everybody's looking for landlords.
That's hard.
It is.
So you can't find the housing.
With voucher in hand,
Right.
you die.
No,
I was like,
Yes.
it's terrible.
but it's hard because,
Not for
you
me.
know, you know how people
Just give me
judge
mine.
for past mistakes? And that's how they do it. For us, and it's sad to say, but that's how they do it for Inkster. You know, they look at, you know, they say, well, no, I don't forget about you from Inkster, I don't want that, they're not gonna pay me, they're not gonna pay me on time.
Well, we need some more finance information.
So it really gets hard.
Just going to the restroom.
You have a good day.
But not only that, you know, like I said, we're in a competitive situation with other housing commissions competing for housing. You know, and that's our biggest problem. Yeah, that's the biggest issue that we're having, is finding, landlords that were willing to participate in the program. And then with COVID, where they had that,
They gonna end up.
thing where they couldn't evict, landlords, you know, having a hard time with that. And then, the amount of rent that they're asking for, it's just a lot of avenues that we're going through. But the main thing right now that we're finding out, and that we've been talking about for the last 2 years, is, competing with other housing commissions, neighboring commissions, because they have a voucher program as well.
So our vouchers are only for the.
No, we service Wayne County and, Ypsilanti. Yes.
Just Ipsy and Washington?
Just Ipsy, yes, just Ipsy and entire Wayne County.
So who are we competing against then?
Other neighboring housing commissions, Taylor, Detroit, Livonia, you name it, Michigan,
Yeah, Michigan
Yes.
is giant.
yes.
You need some units. Okay.
So one of the reasons, it's difficult, and this is not just Inkster problem. It's
No, it's all, yeah,
nationwide, but,
nationwide, yes.
you know, where you probably see more of the higher success rates is where you don't have so much, like, I've never seen so many housing authorities in close
Close
proximity.
to each other,
I
right?
cover Cleveland is one, CMHA. So we don't have Taylor and all these other ones giving vouchers because we in this big county. So so for us, then people have the stigmatism that you can only live in Inkster.
Yeah.
You live in all the Wayne County.
Mhm.
So, but Inkster Housing Commission is issuing the voucher, so I think there's a negative connotation behind that.
It is.
You know, and then the other thing is, a lot of times too, and this is more of an internal thing, is how can we wrap our arms around to assist the participant, right? What can we provide to say, hey, you struggling, let me help you, right? So that means you need to have resources to do that. Well, what's the resource? It's staff. Well, we don't necessarily have the staff capacity to do that because we're trying to run our program or operations, but you have some housing authorities or housing commissions that have kind of the funding to do that. We don't have that funding to do that. So we're challenged, but again, it's not an impossible, there's always solutions. It's not impossible, but we are challenged in that success rate. It is difficult because it impacts a lot. It impacts the ability to lease up a voucher, you know, which then impacts the money that we get. So it has an impact. So.
All right.
Absolutely. But we're trying, we're not giving up.
Okay.
Anything else?
I don't have anything.
Thank
but-
you.
Thanks. Modernization Development Report. Do we have anything for modernization?
That was done by Ms. Lockhart.
All right, that takes us down to compliance.
That was on my Lockhart?
For modernization?
Mhm.
So that's Mr. Cooper does modernization.
No, she covered it when she did the finance. She covered the sheet.
Modernization?
You got anything for modernization that you need to say?
I mean, besides the report that you see, the graph and
Right.
what I talked about in my report.
Good enough? What you got, sir?
Good evening, everyone, to
It expand more with Mr.
the board, to the audience present, to the Zimmers, Anthony Watson, Director of Compliance and Contracting. Aside from what's already been presented to you, just a couple of things. One, to just piggyback on what Ms. Lockhart mentioned, Commissioner Gillette, to talk about TARs, tenant accounts receivables. HUD has a report card known as the Public Housing Assessment System. There's a number of things that HUD looks at to measure how effectively we administer the public housing program. 5% of that score is based on our ability to collect what we charge families. So under tenant accounts receivables, HUD says everything you charge to a family, rent, late fee, court costs, maintenance charges, evictions, what percentage of that you charge do you collect? And based on that percentage, HUD gives us a score. Up until last year, you had to collect more than 98.5% of what you charge to max out on points. This year, HUD changed that. You only have to collect 80% of what you charge to max out on points. You either score 5 points, 2 points, or 0. Write-offs is the one exception that HUD gives us to not count that against us. So the more monies that can be written off as far as charges for your fiscal year, the lower that we have to account for that wasn't collected during the year. We're still going after the money, but from HUD's perspective, okay, we'll just not consider that. So I just wanted to bring that out, just in case there were any questions regarding why we are asked the board to approve write-offs. We did have our procurement committee meeting last week, and again, Commissioner Gillette, just to piggyback, there was a question in regard to anticipated vacant unit renovations. One of the things discussed in the procurement meeting is that we will soon issue a solicitation for vendors to respond for vacant unit renovation. The focus is on 3 of our developments, Denby Terrace, Parkside Estates, and Twin Towers on high-rise buildings. Alliance Architects is working with the Inkster Housing Commission to help develop a revised scope of work. Trying to make it all inclusive so that if you are in this property, this bedroom size, this is everything that you have to do. So at the time, yes. So the anticipation, the word anticipated was in regard to the solicitation that we will be doing later this year for vacant units. Last thing, while I have the opportunity, and I've already mentioned it previously, I'm going to miss Tamika Henson.
You gave all her names?
Now, I didn't say her middle name. I won't go there, but I do know it. Tamika, as I mentioned the other day, has been a bridge over troubled waters. And I also know her to be a restorer of lost souls. Tamika, since she's been here, has restored a sense of hope within the staff, within the residents, because she cares. And the worst reputation any employee of a housing commission can have is you don't care. That will never be the testimony of Tamika Henson. For as long as I've known her, I actually worked with her before she came to the Inkster Housing Commission to see the impact she's made here. Some of you were here back in July and August when we kind of went through a transition and tragedy that happened towards the end of the month of July. And Tamika just swooped right in, did what she did, helped make life a little simpler for a family who was going through a tremendous loss. And so I just wanted to, while the board is here publicly, to appreciate the jewel that is Tamika Sutton, and I'm going to miss her. I enjoyed working with her, and I just wish her the best in her future endeavors. Thank you. If there's any questions, I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
All right, that's cool.
Yes, sir. Beginning next month, there is something, and yes, going back to acronyms. CHAIR, calculation of housing assistance payments, annual income, and rent. HUD representative did a review of some of our records in the voucher program, and as a result of their review, there was a corrective action plan crafted in which we responded. This is what we'll do to make sure the items that were addressed are minimized moving forward. In future updates of the compliance report, you will see our progress in response to comply and complete the items noted in the corrective action plan. So you start seeing that with next month's compliance update.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right.
Oh, that's the one to
Security report.
Good evening. Thank you, Ms. Sanders. Thank you again, board, for allowing us to disrupt the agenda to acknowledge Robert Howard. That was very special to us. As Nancy said, we both, before we even got it out, we both were already on the same page. So, thank you for that. The report for HR, it has changed since what you have in front of you. We are happy. It's ever changing. Every day. So we are happy to announce we have a new employee, Jamila White, that is up front. She is our administrative support aide. This is her second week, and she's doing phenomenal so far.
Yeah, she is.
And again, it took time to find, a good fit. Even if you call, the way that she greets callers is very impressive. So if you haven't had a chance yet, make sure you stop by and give her some IHC love. We also have another new employee that will be starting next Monday as a housing aide. So that's going to really help Serena and Kara out with the asset management team, to get that going. And I'm not sure if we mentioned last, board meeting or not, but Profonda Nelson has returned. So currently, so she's back. And then we have Ebony Bussey, who's also a housing aide, so. I just want to kind of lay that out, because for a while we were just struggling with one housing aide.
Now a housing aid?
Profonda. Ebony, yes, Ebony's been promoted, yes ma'am. Yes ma'am. We did fill the Ross coordinator position, that has changed.
No.
She was set to start, next Monday, but withdrew her, being a candidate. So we are back looking for a Ross coordinator. So we have that. We also have the HCB coordinator position to, again, continue to help push forward the HCB team's agenda. So we have resourcing candidates. And then also we are still looking for our more higher level positions, if you will. The Senior Director of Housing Operations and Management, and then also our Director of Capital Improvement. And right now, we are in the process of scheduling interviews and sourcing candidates. The maintenance service worker, we've been challenged with finding, some talent there that can actually come in and, keep the ball rolling with what the team has in place right now. As Resident Council said, you're able to see the improvement. So we don't want it to take a step back or just fill a gap. So Ken and Kara have been interviewing candidates as well for that. Any questions before I move on in regards to our opening? All right. So I know Mr. Cooper mentioned it in his report, but we're excited to have our offsite retreat on September 30th. I think that'll be really, really good for the team to get offsite, come together. We're going to do some team building exercises as well, and just have everyone really, get to know each other, just kind of offsite. So we're looking forward to that. And then, last but not least, I have to say, our Employee of the Year last year for 2021 was Miss Tanika Sutton, and that goes without saying. You deserve it.
Oh, thank you.
We are going to miss you. We really enjoyed earlier this week, the whole team, we got together and we had lunch, and we just fellowshipped over the huge impact that she's had here. So while we miss Tamika, what we have done was we went into a direction of repositioning the asset management team in position. So Carol Ostrowski will be stepping in as lead for the asset management team. She'll still work closely with, Serena and Ken Rogers and Mr. Cooper and the whole team. So thank you for that. Big shoes to fill, no, just big shoes to fill. And I think that was all I had without extending the meeting any longer. Any questions?
No.
Alright, you guys have some of the newest trinkets that we have in each and in front of you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Resident services. Good evening.
Good evening, board. Charlotte Coachman, Resident Services Manager. I just have one thing to mention that was not on the report. God's Work, she closed her resale shop on Inkster Road. She'll be opening back up inside the Envision Center on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, God's Work, it was a resale shop that the residents use often. She gave out free clothes, used items, slightly used items. She closed about 2 weeks ago. Her building was on Inkster Road. She'll be opening up inside the Envision Center on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Question.
Yes.
Is that gonna be a good thing for that? SOAR had programs out of there.
SOAR, they did the intensive program in the summer, but for the fall hours, they're just gonna be there on Thursdays.
And there be enough room in there for her?
How she got it set up, she can push some things out and push some things back in. Yeah. We told her we'll try and see if it works, and if it don't, it don't. But I wanted her to give her an opportunity because a lot of residents utilize her services. Yeah,
But no, I just.
yeah.
1601 Easter Road.
Say what?
Some just, Easter politics, I know.
Oh. There's a lot of that.
Alright, well, welcome to it. That's cool.
So if y'all get a chance, go by. She has it all set up and ready to go. It looks like a store there, so y'all should go take a look if you get a chance to go by there.
You said Wednesdays and
Wednesdays and Fridays.
Time.
She has not given me a time yet. I think she's gonna open up not this week, next week. So when she gives me all the particulars of the time and she's gonna have a grand opening, I'll let everyone know.
So I can give her my stuff
that's
instead
what I'm
of
thinking.
calling jump in.
Yeah. Well, not a lot of stuff.
Alright, commercial. Point. Oh, gee.
Any other questions? Oh, how is it coming? FSS, from the last report I think I have 3 enrolled. Since that report, I have 1 more. We have not went through the complete intake process because she keeps missing a couple of dates, but we have another person. So it's moving along slowly. I just feel like if I continuously get people, I think that's a good sign that I'm gonna reach out.
We are applying for the grant.
Okay, yeah.
Do this month.
Yeah, it's due October 7th.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, all right, well, thank you.
Security report.
All right. The maiden voice.
Yes.
First time. All right.
I love it.
How you doing?
So I'm gonna give you the security report for the month of August.
All right.
Actually, we were not, due to scheduling conflicts, we were not able to meet in person, but we did go over some stuff over the phone and discuss what happened back in August, which we were already on the same page of. So basically, if you look at your Inkster housing monthly report, what we do now, we're adding on the activities that our housing officer was a part of herself. So one of the things that happened last month, August, we did have one shooting, which was unfortunate. It was a shootout in one of our units, which resulted in the person inside our unit being shot. Which it was a horrible mess, but anyway, we ended up DPSing that unit, and we learned the same day, actually the day that we found out about the shooting, because it happened over the weekend, but that Monday when we learned that the person who was shot with did not live there, was not a resident, and neither was the person living there. They were squatters, per se. They knew the leaseholder, but they were squatters, their name were not on the leaseholder. So me and Tamika reached out to we were able to get in touch with the leaseholder, and she did, acknowledge what the situation was, and so she agreed to, get all her stuff out of there. So we DPS'd it for security until we were able to get the place fixed or whatever, but she did just move out. So that was a positive thing that we were able to resolve, and hopefully, of course, our residents complained, all the ones around there, but hopefully that made them feel better to see that we acted quickly to try to secure the situation and get those people out of there who, had no business there in the first place. So that was one of the main situations that happened last month. Outside of that, we did pass out notices for about, I think 3 or 4 residents with dogs that we found. Residents were harboring dangerous or animals that were too big or whatever the case was. So we passed out notices of the ones that Officer Summers discovered. We passed out notices to those residents, warning them that they had to get rid of the animals. And thus far, they have not resurfaced, but they had them for a minute and they come right back. And so, let me see what else did we talk about. Stolen vehicles. There was one that was recovered, that she found on her Inkster housing property.
We don't know who it belonged to, of course, but it was a stolen vehicle that was recovered. We did not, we learned of one squatter outside of the ones that, of the shooting. We learned of one squatter, we realized was already being evicted. And so it so happened, once Officer Summer reached out to that resident or reached out to the squatter in that unit, they ended up leaving and we BPS'd it right away. Because they were already on the list for eviction, so we ended up BPSing it because they were just squatting there. There was nothing in there. The resident did not turn in her keys. Like, that's the unfortunate part about here. We have a lot of people who just move. Don't report anything, don't turn in any keys, and so we find those all the time. So that's what Officer Summers and I talked about. And then if you can look on the Inkster Housing Monthly Report, she said that was about, this was the total calls for August was 102. I'm sorry, the calls for service was 75. But the total, when you break it down, was about 102 altogether, situations last month. So we're steady working at it, we're steady communicating about what's going on, and we're trying to make progress as we go.
All right.
All right?
Ready with the report?
Any questions?
All right. Thank you so much.
That was so awesome,
That takes us to old business. There is none there. Oh, we need a motion to accept it.
I move that the consent items A through H be accepted as received.
All right, there's a motion to accept the consent items was given. Support by Commissioner Gillette. Any other comments regarding the consent items? Need a roll call, please.
Commissioner Gillette?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Strowman?
Yes.
Chairman Miller?
Yes, sir.
All right, motion carries to adopt the consent items for the September 20th, 2022 board meeting. Thank you.
Sir, 9 is old business. There are no items under old business on this agenda. We're gonna go to the next 10, it's gonna be new business. That one is done. The presentation with that one was moved up, so that takes us all the way to Commissioner comments. Friday, Treasurer, everything for comments for the city.
Always, okay. I did attend the special bylaw update that was presented by the city of Inkster along with Mrs. Moore. And it was very informative, like a review lesson. You go, you get a review lesson. But as soon as I looked at this, when I turned the page, no such thing as old business, it's unfinished business. I didn't catch it to tell you earlier that, it's one of those things. And we thank everybody who does support us in our unity in the community. Start thinking about November. Well, November is going to be the Thanksgiving dinner again. So if you are willing to donate or volunteer, we take it. I can't think of it. You all have a good time going on this. What is it, San Diego?
Yeah, San Diego comes up.
Go on, have fun.
All right. Mr. Judge, have anything for comment?
Sure. I would just like to add that I'm challenging myself and the rest of the board to be as nimble as the director needs us to be. I think it's very important that we do kind of take his request seriously so that we can be ready for this next phase of the housing development. And I think the sentiment is that we do feel that we're capable, more than capable of being the board for you and being the board that you would like for us to become. So just give us this trial and error period, and let's be fair about that, where each of us to, to try to reach that goal to help our ED out the best we possibly can.
Purple is very coming on.
Thank you so much.
Alright. What's up? How you doing, Mr. Thomas, you got anything?
So first also thanking Inkster Housing staff for the work they do, as well as the commission and executive director. Just to get to the business of the people, making sure we're addressing the needs of the community. That should be our number one priority. And doing what's necessary so we not, because I'm a bit tired of hearing about pest control. Like, where's the best pest control company we can find in the world to know how to get the job done? You know, we have to, because that's just been the issue. I don't know if it's the residents not keeping places clean or they just coming. But we got to find a solution to that problem. Because that shouldn't be an issue we hear about at every meeting about pest control. I'm tired of hearing that, to be honest.
May I chime in on that one? I listened to what the gentleman said, and I'm just wondering if they are communicating with the residents that this is used instead of spraying. Because in listening, I do a lot of that. It's like they get rid of the traps because they said it's bringing them. So rather than leave them to bring them, to get rid of them, they're getting rid of them before they can get it. You hear what I'm saying? It's like education. And I'm one of the old school moms that, you know, I just listen and I want to know if that's the reason why because every time I hear it, terminates. And then we got another, a chance for a new beginning with the new liaison. And that might help. He may be the one that will educate and they will be more receptive to what he has to say. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take you guys time, but it just bothered me that I'm thinking that.
Lester?
Let's see, let me comment on what Commissioner Thomas just said. We've been dealing with the problem with roaches for a long time, but some of our residents are educated as far as what, you know, they do. But we have a lot of residents who do not abide by the housekeeping rules. And if you have someone, if you're sitting on each side and you have one that has an infestation, what you think gonna happen? There's nothing's gonna be good because it's gonna, the levels they're gonna rise, you know, so. And if this person doesn't let them in, and we keep giving them more chances and chances and chances and chances, you know, when do you call a chance? You know, when do you say, okay, enough's enough? We gave them the problems about, you know, housekeeping. We warn them. I mean, I know that we're not in the business of putting people out, and I understand that part. But it's gotta be a line drawn somewhere. Because you have to be concerned about where you live. You know, you have children. And a lot of our, you know, they're not being taught, which I still say that we need to have housekeeping classes for our residents, especially the young mothers that don't know. But maybe that will help some with combat some of the problems. I can't say anything about roaches, because I live in Virginia, but we don't have any. And it's amazing why there's no roaches on this side. I'm not trying to be funny, but, you know, there's a totally different pest control company.
Is it?
Yes.
The one that does, oh wow.
They have two countries.
It's two countries. But we also tell them, and I tell them all, you know, but we do have some that, I mean, we just gotta educate. Not only, we have to find out what's gonna work. And, you know, I understand, like, maybe I'll wait and see what happens with the new gentleman coming in for terminates, but I don't know what can be done. I just feel like there's gotta be something.
So who's the service that services them?
the company that services business knowledgeable. My other thing is, I know everyone heard me, my name being called out during public comment. I can only do what I can as one commissioner. I cannot do anything else. But I have always fought for each and every resident. But also, I tell the residents they have to fight for themselves also. I can only do so much. But I have tried to help, as I said on this board, the commissioner, to help my residents, the community, and I do the best that I can do. And that's all I can do. If there's a problem, I want everybody else to look at themselves, and look in the mirror at themselves and say, can I do a better job, or can I deal with a better job, or do I have a better solution? I'm more than welcome. You have that if you want that. On a lighter note, October 29th from 4 to 8, we are going to be partnering with the Inkster Writers. Wow, so many different organizations. I'm really excited about this. All right. We're going to do Village of Inkster Halloween Extravaganza, the 29th, from 4 to 8. So what we're going to do, they're going to take Brookside Park, and we're going to make Brookside Park into a hunting forest for the kids. We will be still having the candy, the sororities will be helping, so they'll be doing the candy with the trunk or treat. We'll be doing our hot dogs and our juice, and we will be doing our pictures for the kids, and then we're going to try to do, as we always do, have a best costume contest for the little ones from like kindergarten up into middle school. So that's what we're looking forward to, and everybody's really excited about it. I think it's going to be fantastic with all the different organizations that's joining in. We're just looking to have a blast. There's a couple other things, but I'm going to hold off, and I've got to do some more investigating, and then I will go to the board. And I do want to say thank you once again to everyone who participated with the backpack. We really appreciate it, everybody. We couldn't do it without everybody.
All right. Okay. That's gonna leave it to me for this last little bit. Let's see. Comments from me. I was out in DC for the FATA conference. Was enlightening. They almost always are. You know, I like some of the FATA flavor. It's kind of nice to get the narrow flavor when you go and get the FATA flavor. FATA tends to be more concentrated for executive directors, executive staff, folks like that in their situations with their authorities. I will tell you though, some of the amount of concern for the state of affordable housing and the Section 8 voucher program was intense in that event. There's some gentlemen who've been doing some stuff for a long time stepped up, and they was like, listen, I can see how I can get my authority to make it to my retirement. After I leave, I don't see how the thing is gonna stay afloat. It's that type of serious when it comes to the Section 8, especially with HUD moving everything out of Section 9 into the Section 8 program that can no longer sustain the rents and keep up with what's going on in the country. We won't get any more funding, and things just seem to be going bad. Like we see it in our numbers. You got people walking around with a voucher trying to find a place to stay, and 1 out of 4 of them are like, your voucher be solved in your hand because you can't find a place. So that is a concern for me. I was looking at the median rents for the area. Median rents now for this area for our particular AMR is $1,371 for a 3-bedroom house. For an area that makes $32 grand, roughly $34 grand per capita. almost untenable for folks. You gotta change your life to come up with 1,400. And it's, you know, and for our folks, that's, you know, they gotta throw their utilities and stuff in there to get that voucher right. So it's like, I don't understand how, it's heartbreaking. That was a heartbreaking conference. I sat in there listening to them folks, and they was like, we don't get it. And these folks who've been doing this like 30, 40 years, no books, no stuff, and now they were like, they sitting there like, how do we keep this thing afloat? This is impossible. We need money. You know, that's why we was sitting there watching it and trying to figure out how to get these funds. I'm gonna come back to that. I did bring some stuff from the conference to leave with the director, because I didn't have enough. I didn't want to put a whole bunch of them It's okay. But I brought enough for it. I'm gonna leave here, so if folks want to read it, they can come it off and take a look at some of this stuff. We are members of this organization. I think as a commission, I think we're members, so we can get access to this stuff. I'm gonna get back to that. The director talked about digital divide. For me, I'm been working at Comcast my whole life, and setting people up for internet service is something that I'm serious about. At the FATA conference, they spoke about the ACP program. It's a federal program that pays for internet for residents. Every resident in public housing is available, is qualifies for the ACP program. Every to a man, to a woman, to a child, everybody does. I'm curious as to what our percentage of penetration is in our footprint, as to whether we making sure that, because they not only do they qualify for this through Comcast, which is pretty much what we got around here, you get the I forgot the name of my own damn program. I was just looking at it. Where you can get reduced internet for being here, and the ACP program credit that they give you will cover that almost 100%, if not 100%. So almost to a person that can have free internet, everybody in here could get it. I'm just curious as to if we are pushing that and making sure that folks here have that program, are going through the Comcast program to get the cheap internet, and then using the ACP credit to get it for free. Everybody should be. So that's something I'd like to know about, is if we can try and get numbers on that, talk to residents, see if they paying for the internet because they should.
Yeah, they are, but they only give you the $30 credit, but they don't tell you about the other part. They give you $30 to
The ACP, yeah, give you the $30. If you go into the Comcast program, it's like $30. Right. So the ACP will cover it. Right. So yeah, if they paying, they should be. You know, that's something I'd like to get a number on what it is, and then try and get a better penetration to our units, or what people got. Let's see here. Committee work. We ran it. Yeah. Nimbleness is interesting as that came up. There's a couple things I've been trying to do. I want to ask real quick, did you get a chance to reach out to the lady from the University of Michigan and stuff? Did that work out?
I haven't heard back. I left her a message. I haven't heard back.
Okay, because if we have that group of people there with all the contracts, I'd like us to have this ready so that she could be there, so we can move forward with them too. Yeah, I want to make sure that we are being as flexible and nimble as we possibly can. So like, the director is like an email guy. I'll be working, and the email will go off. I want to make sure everybody is checking their email at least once a day. He sent a few a week, you know. So if you go on a couple of days and you ain't looked, you didn't miss something. He didn't send something. Take a look, see what's in the email, send it. You know, because I try to watch it close. I try to respond quick. You know, hey, director sending stuff, so we can make sure that we help him out. Because a lot of this stuff we can do with a phone call between ourselves, and a lot of this stuff, you're on the same page with this stuff and just let them know where it is. We don't have to do everything formally like this before we move. 30 days is a long time, 31 days is a long time on some of this stuff. So if he sends something, and email, give me a call, be like, hey, everybody call me, I'm gonna pick the phone up. Pick this one up, I'll pick that one up. If I don't pick this one up, I'll call you back. just let me know where y'all at, I'll get back to him, we can go ahead and get it together, move forward, cause we don't have to do this thing for a third time with that business thing, and this is something that we could have put all our problems and issues, comments, concerns in the email sent to Becky, he could have had it ready for us, we gotta do it again. And there's other items that's been like that in the past, so we wanna try it, because as we move down this road, this stuff there's gonna be more and more people on that screen, there's gonna be more and more complex, there's gonna be more and more, because as we start becoming more viable, things, people gonna wanna be a part of it, we're gonna wanna do more for more people, it's gonna be a lot of stuff going on in here, so we wanna make sure that we can move fast, we can move quick, we educate on the things we wanna do, and we can knock it out, so we can service our folks. Bless you, sis. What about mask?
I said, she get a blessing,
You
and I get a
can
pull
tell me
up.
why you got a pulled up mask there, I hate to, matter of fact. So, for me, other thing that I kind of want to focus on going into the next year is, and we'll do it when we get all this thing together, is what people's vision is individually. As we got a group vision, I'd like to try and get aligned with where it is people want to go. I say mine because I'm really serious about building communities with people. I mean, for me, if we don't buy something, fix something, put somebody in it within the next 30 days, that's that's mission failure as far as I'm concerned. So, especially when we got people paying $1,300, $1,400 for rent, they can't get, and there's a gang of property out here we could get together and save somebody and change somebody's life with. Oh my man. Yeah, ooh, my goodness. I'm like, that's not cool. If we have the opportunity, the wherewithal, the skill set, the means, and all that to change people's lives for the better, we should be doing it as many times as we can do it until we run out. So I like to start doing stuff. People pulled on me to tell me, but I am really serious about it because it doesn't make sense to me. And it just seems like a good idea to help people when we have the means to do so. I got, the people that moved in next to me, they paying $1,450 for their 3-bedroom place. I got a mortgage. I paid $405 for my place, right? Because I know it. I've been doing this stuff my whole life. I watch the markets. I know the interest rates. I know when I can refi. I know when I can do my thing. So I got disposable income. I can do things to help my people. I can do stuff. I can subsidize my properties that I rent out. I don't have to rent them as high because I ain't hurting as much, right? But it's really tough out there for people, and it happened fast. At the beginning of this year, rent was about $850 for a 3-bedroom place. It's another $500-600 that they took out of people's pockets. And that's just rent. That ain't utilities. That ain't food. That wasn't that crap with the gas at $5. It was none of that. So, and stuff not coming back. You know what I'm saying? Inflation don't come back like that. If it was, I could still get me a Chevelle 79 for $3,800. And I can't. I wish I could. So we gotta try and do what we can. Even if, like I said, the director, we're gonna talk about it later. But I was like, if we just do one or two, cause I've been buying, rehabbing, flipping, and putting people in houses my whole life. It is not hard, man. It's really not. So, well, not my whole life, she's about 19. I'm getting old, so I'm trying to say my whole life. But I believe that we can do it. I believe it can be done on a small scale. I believe it's something that we're gonna have to do anyway, because we need to transition. And I believe we need to start transitioning to who we're gonna be in small steps as we go. I don't think we need to change all this and then decide we're gonna be something and then get started. I think when we finish, we need to already have had our entry level into who we was while we're still who we are. So if we make mistakes, we got cushion, instead of we just jumping into the game and then falling on our face with nothing. So I'm gonna keep talking to y'all about it. I really think I'm gonna start bringing people in here too. I got folks from Detroit, senators and folks. I got people coming in here because when I start talking to other folks, and I mentioned it to 2 people here, they said, if you do any of that, call us. Because ain't nobody else doing that nowhere else. And that's true, and they not. but it's mandated to do so in kids. So, we'll talk tomorrow. There's so many people need help. All right, that's all I got. Let's see. Do we have anything for closing? Motion?
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh,
To go home. There's a motion for adjournment on the wing. Somebody good?
I move that we adjourn at whatever time, 10:11.
Support. All right, it's moved for. Any roll call? Commissioner Gillette? Yes. Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
yes.
Mr. Strawberry?
Yes.
Chairman Moore? Yes, sir. All right, motion has been moved. Second. Good night, y'all. Thank you all. All right, Robin.
Thank you.